the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in on a big Thursday edition of Follow the Money as we are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. We will hit the game tonight. Big game in Week 2 in the AFC East between the Bills and the Dolphins. Hit it several times over the next 3 hours. On the program today, Paul Charchian joins the show in 30 minutes. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer and very good at giving out angles and analysis on player props that he likes as well. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game. We'll also talk to Steve Wiss coming up, get his best bets in soccer. Brad Powers, college football. Lou Finocchiaro on UFC 306, which is out here at that great Sphere. I would love to go to that event on Saturday night.
Sure.
Dana White said originally one and done.
Yeah.
So
great. What a lineup. Yeah.
Very good program today. Mm-hmm. Dolphins, Pauly, a few hours before kickoff, sitting at 2.5 at almost every shop. Total is either 48 or 48.5, depending on where you go. I've gone back and forth on this game several times throughout the week. My original thought was I'm going to like the Dolphins quite a bit. Then I kind of changed my mind. There is this. Take this for what it's worth. The Bills are 11-2 against Miami with Josh Allen at quarterback. 4-1 as McDaniel's the head coach. Both losses, though, those two were to Miami. We're in Miami. And there is also this with Josh Allen, which I could not believe when I saw it. Went back, double-checked. It's absolutely true. Josh Allen has 36 touchdown passes in 13 career games against Miami, and he has had multiple touchdown passes in every single one of those games. That kind of floored me.
Mm-hmm. I think his prop is too low with his yards, sitting there at 247. Sal Pal's right. It's a gotta-have-it game for Miami. If you're going to win the division, you got to win this game. He's right. And you had the opportunity last year. You lose at home in Week 18, division on the line. Guess what? You lost. You blew it. Then you had to go to Kansas City in the elements, and that didn't go well. So you're right about the 11-2. It gets worse. 10 of 11 and 13 of 15. As you pointed out yesterday, Allen 11-2 against them. One of the losses, the yards were 500 to 220.
That's right.
One of all-time fluke games that somehow the Bills lost that one. 88 degrees, 78% humidity. Has to favor Miami. And I want to see what this new and improved defense can do for the Dolphins tonight if they can contain Allen and all his weapons, because they did a good job shutting out Jacksonville in the second half and holding them to 17 points. So we'll see if they can hold him in check. As you pointed out, Allen has had big games against him in the past.
Yep. So Allen also has had 300-plus yards passing in 5 straight games against Miami, and he averaged 10.1 yards per attempt against Arizona. Now, on the flip side, when you compare what took place last week in that game, Kyler Murray did not complete a pass over 10 yards downfield in Week 1. Not a single pass. That goes back to what we've been saying all week long, more dink and dunk than anything else. And Tua... he did not have a good game against Buffalo last year, but he had a league-high 209 yards on throws, 10-plus yards downfield. That was in Week 1 alone when he threw for 338 against Jacksonville. So fascinating numbers across the board, including this. Tyreek Hill not only has never had a 100-yard receiving game against Buffalo in a Miami jersey, his high game is 82 yards. And then you have the backfield here, right? We knew that Mostert wasn't going to play.
Right.
It looked like Achane was trending to probably not playing as well. Well, he put out on social media a little earlier that he's going to be in the game. I would say this, shop around, as always. One of the most important things to sports betting, I was looking for a prop on Jeff Wilson today.
Absolutely.
Right?
He led him in rushing yards.
So
Now, they couldn't run the ball against Jacksonville, but they tried, but nothing worked. But I like that.
He was between plus 145 was the best number, all the way juiced up to minus 155 for an anytime touchdown. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big difference there with the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, no doubt. You're right. So I expect him to play as well, but he's got the ankle injury. It's also what he did. Forget about the rushing game. What he did, he caught 7 balls against Jacksonville, Achane, and he had 70 yards.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, does Tua sprinkle it around and spread it around like Allen did? Again, the motto there is everyone eats. 10 different guys at a target, 9 at a reception against Arizona. I mean, he threw to Waddle and Hill and Mostert, and Achane, and that was it. And Waddle and Hill went off. I like to see other guys get involved like Smith and Berrios. But So Johnson's not available for Buffalo, injury in the secondary, and Allen's dealing with the hand. See if he comes out and puts the glove on it. It's not the throwing hand that he injured in the touchdown run against Arizona. So Arizona didn't do much through the air against them, although Harrison was wide open for the game-winning touchdown. Somehow Murray didn't see him, but they had a lot of success on the ground. So how does McDaniel come out, and how does he want to attack him? Because certainly it was a big dose of Connor and a big dose of Murray in that game, which they led 17-3. But going back again to you got to have it game, Sal Pal, Tua's 9-1 ATS against New England and the Jets. You got to get this one. These are the games you have to win.
Yep. Tell you what, I was itching to bet Jalen Wright. He's the 4th-round rookie running back out of Tennessee they took, who did not play in week 1. And people love this guy. The fantasy world loves him for sure. I could not wait. I was waiting for the breaking news on HN to be out of the game, and then Wright was going to be the first guy that I was going to bet, and his numbers were absolutely going to move. They're too short to me to bet anything with him, anytime, first, anything like that, because now he's going to be the 3rd guy, if at all, behind both HN and Wilson in the game tonight. So Mike McDaniel, I'm a big fan of him. I bet him last year to win Coach of the Year. Very good with the offensive schemes, going all the way back prior to his days in San Francisco. Here he is talking about the game tonight. A lot of respect for this Buffalo Bills team.
If you want to do anything in this league, generally you can't skip over the much mandated step of winning your division. And there's one team that's won the division consecutive years that you could say that they by de facto own the division until somebody takes it from them.
He's right with that. And I would say at the very top, I mean, these 3 teams are pretty razor thin.
Yeah.
Would you not agree?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They also did a good job, though, shutting him down, Josh Allen, in the final game. That was a 21-14 game. The punt return changed everything. I think Miami was going to win that game. So they also shut down Jacksonville 2 of 11 on 3rd down. So McDaniel is right, and it's a tough game here, handicap. Now, I'm looking at, let's start off with a bang. Again, opening kickoff to be a touchback, -155.
All right.
Just bang it right in. The other thing has been the kicking. That's been the story with the field goals. 22 of 23 from 50 yards plus in week 1. Also, this prop tonight, over 3.5 made field goals, is plus $1.30. There were 6.
Did you see longest field goal?
Yeah, it's 47.5. That seems low, too.
I want to start finding,
He's got a big leg, Sanders, so does the other guy.
They should actually start posting, will a 50-yard field goal be made in the game?
Yeah, that's true.
At this rate, I mean, just keep betting it until you lose a couple in a row.
Yeah, 47.5 here at Circa. So, field goals made in week 1. 2019, 48. 2020, 48. 2021, 47. 2022, 49. This, 68.
Oh!
So that prop that I just talked about that is plus money went 13-3 in week 1. The average price was plus 120. The 2 losers, there were 3 made field goals. You just missed it. So here again tonight, over 3.5 is plus 130. And it's just, conservative. Let's go. Okay, we got strong kickers. How we're going to do it? Short passes, 3rd and 10. We're not going to dump it off.
Sure.
Right? So, again, that went 13-3 in week 1.
Did you see Sanders miss last week?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Because I like him.
He's good.
He's had a good career.
Yeah,
I could have kicked it better than that.
Oh,
I get guys whiff it once in a while, but like that?
I give him credit. He made the game winner. But it's like you said, this was too easy. It was 22 of 23 from 50-plus, and most of them are right down the middle.
That one surprised me. That was like Greg Maddux going out there and throwing an 0-2 pitch, and he looked like 50 Cent. That's what it would be like when he missed it. So great numbers on VSiN.com as well from Steve Mackin. I'll tell you about just some of the trends. Last 64 Thursday night games, road teams been on a roll. They're 31-33 straight up, but 38-24 and 2 ATS. That's big. Weeks 1 through 8, home teams 21-18 straight up. However, they're only 11-26 and 2 ATS. It's 29.7%. In division matchups, Thursday night football home teams are 15-4 straight up, but only 10-19 ATS since the start of the 2019 season. Mackinnon does it again, VSiN.com.
Good job. What do you want to do with the Buffalo props with the wide receivers? Shakir is $1.30 to have 40 yards. Coleman is $1.60. Again, it's a mess because 9 guys caught a pass in week 1.
Here's what I want to do. I want to bet Kincaid tonight.
Okay, he's 44 yards.
Yeah, Kincaid did not, maybe an alternate prop with him, like 50 plus or more. Kincaid, he did not have a good game. He only caught 1 or 2 passes, but he ran a majority of the routes on Josh Allen's dropbacks. Always a key stat to look at. He just didn't find him in week 1. So that will correct itself. I have, in fact, I bet Kincaid to score anytime touchdown, and I took a little 16 for the first touchdown as well. There was that stretch where Allen loved to go to like Dawson Knox right away in games. So I think Kincaid is the main guy here, clearly. I mean, he'll take over as tight end number 1.
I'm taking a flyer on Jonnu Smith. So we also have that quick pick. Allen touchdown, Allen 50 yards rushing, Hill touchdown, Hill 70 yards rushing. That's 10-1. And if you really want to get nuts, Allen 2 touchdowns, Bills win, Coleman 5 catches, Cook 30 yards receiving, 24-1. But if he's going to go off again, and he's going to carry this team,
I know
he's going to spread it around. He's going to get his, just like the Arizona game.
I will be honest, like the anytime touchdown numbers, and specifically the
first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, will Josh Allen score 2 touchdowns?
Yeah,
it's laughable at some spots with the numbers. But he does it. He seemingly does it like every game. I know he doesn't, but it's like ho hum. There's another 2 scores on the ground for Allen tonight, and by the way, he threw for 3 more.
Right, but the props are so difficult from the Buffalo side. Because it just might. This guy Shakir has 3 catches. Coleman has 3 catches. Kincaid has 3 catches.
I know. Well,
that's how he's going to do it. Samuel had a couple catches.
Yep. Paul Charchian's going to have a pretty big opinion on this yet again coming up in about 20 minutes or so right here on the show. So good game, fascinating game. Can't wait to watch it tonight. Up next, win some, lose some. Paul will recap what took place yesterday, including how favorites crushed it, and don't sleep on another very important football game tonight. Let's follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our how to bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the sports betting network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social, learn the game, and know the odds. Play with legal operators. And if you need help, reach out. Visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Action, great props as always. Most runs last night. Diamondbacks 17-1. Highest scoring game, dead heat. Diamondbacks Rangers 11-1. Dodgers Cubs 8-1. Big comeback for the Dodgers. Ohtani does it again, 10-8. Diamondbacks won 14-4. Favorites went 12-3 yesterday in Major League Baseball. The A's were 2-1. They beat the Astros. The Nats were plus 150. Couldn't believe the Braves couldn't score. Loser for me. And earlier today, Colorado plus 240. Killer loss for the Tigers. Why didn't Skubal come out for the 7th inning?
Evidently, he took a liner back.
Is that what happened?
So, yeah, I was surprised by that as well.
80
Tracking
pitches.
the score, 84 pitches.
Game you got to have.
You have to have it.
Have to have it. 2-1 in the 7th. They lost.
The timing on that, which also meant that he stayed under his K prop. And now that's such a huge loss that, what are you going to do with Skubal? I have various reasons for asking this question, like season-long props. What are you going to do with him if you're eliminated with a week to go?
No.
Do you toss him out there again?
No.
I would think no.
No. Bad luck. 2 runs against the Rockies.
Horrible luck.
After what they did in the first couple games, WNBA, something was amiss. We briefly touched, this was off air, I think. Damn. There was a 5-point move in the Mystics game against the Chicago Sky. Oh, they won by 40. 89-58. Angel Reese out for the season, but they were at home in that game. Aces, 2.5 up to 4.5. They beat the Fever by 11, and Brad Powers found it. This was from Saturday. Drake, love the Drake.
Oh, get out of here.
That's what FanDuel had. He's 75-1. They were 34-point underdogs against Eastern Washington, and they won the game.
What?
That's what he said. Powers coming up. Incredible. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. This is Henry the crocodile. Supposed to be the oldest living croc. Look at the size of this guy. Be careful. 10 stories high if he's a foot. Look at that. You better stand back. Look how big he is. And the mouth just stays open.
Okay, first of all, what's his name? Harry?
Henry.
That was my pet dog when I was 5 years old.
Yeah. Whoa!
My stuffed animal named Henry. His head is the size of that guy's torso.
Right. That's
it's
right.
bigger. It's bigger than the guy's torso.
Yep. What do you think he weighs? That's
800 pounds.
That's like 3 of them put together. He's the oldest living croc, they say, and he means business.
Oh, look at the teeth.
I know. Imagine if that guy can scoot, too.
Oh.
I mean, that is a problem. That is a big problem. Let's do the dog videos. Got a couple good ones today. You get the dog with the stick. Okay, I got the water up here, and then I got the fence, but then I have the big stick in my mouth.
Balance beam action here.
All right, how am I going to navigate this, right? See, if I come this way, I'm going to fall into the water. I can't do it, right?
Tippy toe time.
So you can look at it, he's thinking, see, how am I going to do this, right? Okay, I'm going to walk back. Oh, I'm going to turn the stick all the way around. He's trying to figure it out. And here he comes. You got to do it that way, fella. Yes, you got to put the stick in. Yes, that way, behind the fence. Come in, tippy toe, bang. Got it. And he's a happy boy. He doesn't fall into the water. Excellent job.
I want that dog. That is a gorgeous dog.
Exactly.
Stunning
right.
dog.
Correct. Send it in. Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Look at this guy. Is it Ike? No, yeah, he's like staring at the guy through the screen door. Like, you got a problem? You coming outside? He's staring right at him, right? And the guy comes out. He goes, "What's your beef?" What? What is your problem? Okay, staring contest, right? Right? Looking. Coming. Hey, okay, there we go. See, I thought he couldn't see him when he was going to try to scare him.
That's what I thought too.
But he's waiting and he's staring at him. And then the dog finally comes out and then they take off and
now they're best friends.
Yeah, beautiful backyard and they're running around and having a good time. That's great. Excellent. Lose some, Storm, WNBA from 10 up to 12.5. Won by 8. White Sox have lost 15 in a row at home. That happened when we were on the air again. And a couple bad beats. A moose while we were on the air yesterday. Blue Jays, Mets. Francis had a no-no in the 9th. 1-0. The total was 7.5. It went over. Lindor leads off with a home run. The bullpen blows up. Toronto pushes one through in the 9th. 6-2 final. And also bad beat, no-hitter, 30-1. Offered every day, William Hill and Caesars, the yes-no. Guy's 3 outs away. Come on. There you go. Great job, fellas. That's win-lose.
All right, so another big football game that we have on the board tonight.
No doubt.
And it is Arizona State at Texas State. Texas State, a team that many people who I respect.
Brett McMurphy, one of them.
Others, yeah.
Yep. Powers has got tickets on him.
Sure, this team to make the playoffs as the group of 5, now going to be a group of 6?
Yes.
Okay. So they're also taking a bunch of money in this game tonight. And kickoff coming up in, what do we have here? 3 hours before kickoff, in fact?
Yeah, 4:30 Pacific. I don't agree with the move.
How about that? Now, Arizona State was the favorite. Now, Texas State's 2.5 everywhere.
Yeah, they opened, it was +3, Texas State, and now favored. So certainly it's what they did last week. So a lot of people, this is a good program, UTSA. And Texas State embarrassed them.
Yeah, they killed them.
They did. And I like McLeod a lot, the quarterback, the transfer from JMU, who had 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. But I love what I'm hearing from Arizona State and Levitt, the quarterback. He said it's a completely different team. You see fight, togetherness, good chemistry. They were 3-9 last year, didn't go well, and they come out and they start 2-0. How 2.5? My God, I can't believe. So they come out and they're 7-point dogs at home to Wyoming, and they blast them. Wyoming has to score with like 20 seconds left to avoid the shutout. Then here's what I like, and I played Arizona State. They're up 30-7 against Mississippi State. They screw around next to a little close, right? 7-point game. But the running game has been fantastic. And Scatterbo had 260 on the ground against Mississippi State. Levitt had a big game on the ground. And I like the comments and the chemistry with this team. And I Texas State, I know popular, but after what they did to San Antonio, my question is, can you do it again? Because you played like a perfect game. Right. So it's also a big deal. How many times are these guys going to be on national TV where everyone can see? But good program, but I still think Arizona, I don't agree with the move. I think Arizona
Can we go
State.
back to Texas State beating Lamar 34-27?
Good point.
Does that
What
have anything to
happened
do
there?
with it? I mean,
Yeah.
I know they killed Texas San Antonio last week, which is ultra impressive, but they beat Lamar by 7 the week before. So, Scatterbo, I went back and watched the highlights today against Mississippi State. Look, I mean, it's Mississippi State. It's not Alabama, but they're still an SEC program. That kid looked phenomenal in that game running the football. It wasn't like a couple of breakaway runs that he had. He was like putting the shoulder down. He was mauling defenders. He was running over people. He found the holes. He was elusive. I was super impressed by that game. Adam Burke wrote today in his story in the breakdown at VSiN.com, can he follow that up now? 262, because you figure like that's going to take a lot out of him, right? And so it's a quick turnaround on a Thursday game. So props are still available. You can still bet college props at some spots. 100.5 rushing yards tonight for Scatterbo. He's coming off 262, as you said, against Mississippi State. All he has to do is crack the century mark.
Yeah.
And that's a winner for
I
you.
like that. What's Levitt, the quarterback?
For passing?
No, rushing. He had 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's 42.5. Yeah, we'll go 42.5.
Ooh, that seems low.
With the rushing.
There's a good quick pick. Arizona State to win. Scatterbo touchdown. Levitt touchdown. Levitt's got to have 2 touchdown passes, though, but that's 10-1. I don't know about the Texas State defense, though, because you really can you say have you been tested? And certainly if you're going to come back and say Lamar moved it on them, then you might have problems. But I always like it when a team wins a game, but the coach can chew their ass.
Sure,
and
that's
what
big
happened.
spot.
They fell asleep against Miss State in the second half.
Now, for Texas State at quarterback, James Madison transferred Jordan McLeod, 39 of 57 on the year for 547, 5 touchdowns, 2 INTs, and a 68% completion percentage. It's pretty good. Off to a damn good start on the year.
Let me tell you something. If they win this game, though, the Bobcats, watch out. I believe Brad Powers has them favored in every game the rest of the way. Yeah. So if they can win this one, and you love McLeod, and I love Kinney, their coach. 8-5 last year. They return 18 starters.
Have you looked?
Brett McMurphy and all these. They're a big price just to make the Sun Belt title game, and they're a big price to win their division. The Sun Belt is the only conference that kept divisions.
What have you seen a recent number on this team to make the playoffs? It's got to still be double figures, I would think, right?
Will Hill's got it. I can't remember what I saw, though. But
no, that's certainly.
Do you have to go undefeated?
Well, again,
that's a tough call, though.
I will point this out. The Liberty schedule is so weak. In fact, it's the easiest in the entire country, and people expect that team to go undefeated. I can't possibly. If Boise has one more loss and they win the Mountain West Conference, I can't put undefeated Liberty over Boise State. However, if Texas State wins this game tonight and they run the table, are they in over 10? 2-loss Boise?
I don't know. 6-1. Will Hill Caesars. Not enough.
No, I would need more than that.
I don't know. That's a tough call. We've never done this before.
No, ever.
I don't know how they're going to look at it.
Yep.
I'm confident that Liberty's in a world of hurt.
I don't think they can get in.
No. They're 22-point favorite, and they had to get out of there alive in Las Cruces.
That's right.
So, not good.
The SOS should play a major factor in that.
Well, we saw Peacock, but everyone saw Boise almost beat Oregon on the road. So
I'll tell you what, there's also another big game tomorrow night. We'll talk about it then, tomorrow on the show. UNLV, what if UNLV wins that game? Another one you got to consider. People have that team pegged into the playoffs. Up next, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian on the program. How are we attacking the Dolphins' backfield from a prop and fantasy perspective? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.
VSiN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VSiN has to offer. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $9.99. Don't miss out on this offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
The only thing better than football is the excitement of all the contests. Catch the Circa Friday Football Invitational at 9 p.m. Eastern with picks from some of the sharpest bettors around the country. Then on Saturdays at 9, watch the Football Contest Show, where our expert hosts and guests go through the consensus choices for some of the biggest betting contests in the world. The fun doesn't stop there. Visit VSiN.com for the full lineup and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. Good to have you on board here. Thursday Night Football coming up in a little bit less than 4 hours. We'll hit it here and several times throughout the duration of this show. Paul Charchian joins the program, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, GuillotineLeagues.com, and he is on the Progressive guest line. What's up, Charch?
Hey, great to talk to you guys again. We got a good game, a good Thursday for all the heat that Thursday night games take. This one is a pretty good game, and I think people are generally excited for this. I know I am.
Not only good, very important game, I would say. Josh Allen has owned Miami for the most part, 11-2 in 13 games played overall, and he's by the way, he has thrown I couldn't believe this when I saw it today. He's had at least 2 passing touchdowns every single game against Miami.
How about that?
That's not easy to pull off. Let's begin in the Miami backfield, however, though, where it's muddled. We do have some clarity at this point, though, compared to a couple of hours ago today. What do you want to do? Achan's going to give it a go. Wilson's the backup. Are we going to see any Jalen Wright tonight? Take it away.
Yeah, so, they're saying that it's optimistic about Devin Achan, but it's a game time decision. Really, really thorny for fantasy players. And here's why. If you do start Devon Achan, and everything goes right, he'll eat into what Raheem Mostert's carries could have been. Maybe some of the catches Mostert would have gotten. I mean, you could have a good game. And the way you beat Buffalo is by and large on the ground, by the way, not through the air. They got a great pass defense. So, Achan could have a very big role here. But the other side of it is he's as frail as any running back in the league. So anything could happen. It could, you could easily re-injure the ankle. These Miami runners, as a side note, it's like owning a Lamborghini. It's great when it's running and it's not in the shop. That's these guys. When everything's clicking, you love these Miami runners. And when they're not, it's a disaster. Or I'll give you an alternate analogy if you don't like the Lamborghini one.
No, I liked it, but go ahead.
Rostering Miami runners is like dating somebody who's like 3 tiers better looking than you are, because you're in this fragile, unsustainable relationship and you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And here we didn't have to wait long for the Jimmy Choos to drop in Miami. We're week 1. We're already a disaster. Here we are. Jeff Wilson got the work last week. He was active. We expect him to play a role in this and probably walk into the Raheem Mostert role. And so that makes him as somebody that you could start if you needed to. He's flex-worthy in fantasy. Rookie Jalen Wright, probably active in this game, insanely fast. He fits that model, but I don't think there's enough work for him based on what on the fact that he was inactive last week. So I'm not starting Wright, but I've got Wilson going in a couple of my deeper leagues.
The most beautiful women are the most insecure.
Why is that?
That could be. I know. So be careful with the tier stuff.
And you would know better than any, Paul.
But by the way, they aim for 3-4 tiers below them.
You think so? So they have the upper hand, right?
Yeah. So you were on Shakir last week. I'm having a tough one with this. I like Shakir to get 40 yards, but 10 different guys had a target, 9 different Bills had a reception. Yep. What do we do with Kincaid and Coleman and Shakir, and who's got a good matchup? Take it away.
All right. Well, I'm a Shakir guy, so take it with a grain of salt here. I liked him in the preseason. He got the touchdown last week. Depending on where you wagered on Shakir, you may or may not have hit his over on, I was between 38 and 42 yards last week. It was close. The point being, by the way, shop your props. Always shop your props. Yeah. Every yard counts. We love that. So this week's Shakir line is 39.5 receiving yards. I'm also interested in his anytime touchdown. But let's talk about this. Shakir runs from the slot the majority of his plays. That puts him up against Miami slot cornerback, something called Kader Kohou, who ranked as Pro Football Focus's second from the bottom cornerback in week 1. He ranked as cornerback 127 in the league. Last year, Kader Kohou allowed the 8th worst opposing passer rating on balls in his coverage, a passer rating of 136. It's like basically every time you throw at Kader Kohou, you're doing it with Joe Montana. Kohou gave up 67 yards in his coverage last week. He allowed the 6th most touchdowns in his coverage last year. And the last thing I'll mention about Khalil Shakir and why I like him. These teams met in week 18 of last year. This is when, of course, the Bills had Stephon Diggs and they had Gabe Davis. Khalil Shakir, week 18, 105 yards against these same Miami Dolphins. I like Shakir a lot tonight.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to search for while we ask him the next question. I'm going to look for Khalil Shakir to have the most receiving yards tonight. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
Oh, man.
Monday night.
Plus 10, plus 1,000.
10-1.
It's got to be. It's 10-1?
I got 10-1.
Okay. Lazard came in at a monstrous number Monday night for the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
These kind of things can happen.
Yep.
Okay, so also, another great stat about this, Tyreek Hill, not only has he never had 100 yards receiving in a Miami jersey against Buffalo, his highest number ever is 82 yards.
Wow, not even close.
Yep.
So, you know what's – Buffalo was able to largely shut down Marvin Harrison last week because they've got Rasul Douglas, who's just great. And the Packers gave him away for a third rounder. That was a mistake. But they do a lot of man coverage with Rasul Douglas against best players. Now, Tyreek Hill complicates matters because he can beat man easily. So you got to be careful here. But Rasul Douglas, I is the guy who would gain a lot of that responsibility in this game.
Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Paul Charchi and our guest, GuillotineLeagues.com on the Progressive Guest Line. So what happens now, and you're close to Packer land, what do you think of Malik? Too close. What do you think of Malik Willis, and what happens with all these Packer weapons now that a guy comes in who's I didn't even throw for 100 yards in a game, and he's made numerous starts?
No. And for people that don't know the geography of the Twin Cities very well, we're a border town with Wisconsin. And especially St. Paul, and the St. Paul side. And basically the St. Paul suburbs push all the way into Wisconsin. And so what happens is all these people that were raised in Wisconsin, and they're all Packer fans, and then they grow up as Packer fans, and then they graduate Madison in 7 years in 4 DWIs. And then they're like, oh, I'd like to get a job. Okay, so then they cross into our state, and now the Twin Cities is just littered with Packer fans. It's sad, honestly. Let's talk Malik Willis.
Talk to me how Hudson, Wisconsin is blowing up with Minnesotans moving over there and taking over in the last 10 years or so.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. I know it is. Yeah, you're coming over to our land, buddy.
We are, and the reason is because our tax rate here is insane.
Right?
We are incredible. Our taxes are nuts.
Terrible state. Minnesota. Terrible state.
They cross over. Okay. 3 NFL starts for Malik Willis, and we've already hit on one of the great stats. How do you start 3 NFL games and not throw for 100 yards in any of them?
I don't get it.
Not in some cases, not close. He had a 55-yard passing game, an 80-yard passing game, and a 99-yard passing game in the NFL. Malik Willis. Get this. If you spike the ball into the ground on every pass, Mitch, Pauly, do you know what your passer rating would be?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard this before, I think. Is it 38 or something?
Yeah, is it right?
It's 39.
39.
You know Malik Willis's passer rating in his 3 starts?
32.
26.
39.
39. Same thing.
Going back to pass, he's basically just dirting the ball every single time. Never thrown a touchdown, 3 interceptions. Now, you might be thinking, well, what can Malik Willis do? Well, okay. He can't pass deep. He's thrown 10 career passes over 10 yards. 10 yards is not even deep, by the way.
Yeah, right.
He's thrown 14 career passes over 10 yards. Malik Willis has completed 3 of the 14 passes over 10 yards. Now, where Malik Willis is lethal, behind the line of scrimmage, he's 6 for 6 on behind the line of scrimmage passing. That's Malik Willis's territory right there, is throwing backwards. So that's what you get for Malik Willis. Now, he could have gotten better in 2 years. So let's not throw that out. But it's not like Tennessee has got this great stockpile of quarterback prospects. So they give away Malik Willis because they got too many good arms. They gave away Malik Willis with Will Levis. Yeah. So I think the probability here is that the Packers are in deep trouble with this. I think this means every part of the Packer passing game, I got a bench. Maybe one guy has a good game. Good luck guessing who that's.
Yeah, no kidding.
Can you do this in 90 seconds? Let me know. Why is everyone dropping Corum? And what do we go? And what do we do with him moving forward?
Well, don't give up on Blake Corum, because the time is going to come where he's going to be a factor in this offense, either through Kyren Williams getting run down because they're using him so much, or just because they want to start working more people in. Ronnie Rivers is not the answer here. This is all first week, early stuff. Corum is going to be a good player. He just didn't get on the field. Well, at all. He got no utilization whatsoever. But that time is coming, and don't panic in week 1 on him.
Okay, well done.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else that you don't want to panic about? You're going to stick around for another segment, but anybody else that people are just going completely overboard about after the week 1 performance?
Yeah, I'm not giving up on Zamir White right there in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He had a bad game, and this matchup this week is frankly not easy either. But I think he bounces back here, and I know this team wants to run, and I think you're going to see a much more concerted effort to get Zamir White going.
Would you accept a trade if I offered Travis Etienne and Rashad White for Bijan Robinson?
Depends on my league, but probably not.
You would not?
Bijan getting almost all of the work. That was the big question. Are they going to go like full workload on Bijan Robinson? And they did. 45 snaps compared to Tyler Algier, who just had 9 snaps.
I thought it was
I
thought it was an incredible sign for Bijan in week 1.
It is.
We'll continue with Charge.
We just got to hope Kirk Cousins can do his part of this.
No kidding. More player props with Chart next.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Both college and NFL underway. Never been a better time to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Make this football season your best ever. Full VSiN Pro access. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The leaderboard, see who has the hot hand, the betting splits, the betting systems, the dog videos, the football season special. Full VSiN Pro access through the Super Bowl, just $175. Everything we do through the Super Bowl, $175, or a monthly subscription for $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe. Sign up. Start betting smarter today. All the breakdowns and previews of the 2 football games today are fantastic. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We continue with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian, GuillotineLeagues.com. He's on the Progressive guest line. What was your biggest takeaway from the backfield with the other team in Los Angeles, the Chargers, after J.K. Dobbins went nuts against the Raiders?
Yeah, Harbaugh had said he's going to use a hot hand, and he totally delivered on that. Once Dobbins had clearly become the better guy, that whole game shifted towards Dobbins. But more importantly, I think, than even the Dobbins part of this, Gus Edwards looked bad.
Okay.
2.4 yards per carry. Across the entire league, Gus had the second worst rushing yards over expectation at negative 1.6. So I guess he was rushing yards under expectation. But that means, on an average run, at least the NFL evaluators are saying they think he left 1.5 yards on the table on every run, and he looked slow. Meanwhile, J.K. Dobbins clocked in with a 20-mile-an-hour run on that breakaway that he had, 20 miles an hour. I didn't think he had it left in him after the ACL. Here comes Carolina. So it's possible both Dobbins and Gus get paid, like we saw last week with Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams both scoring. But Dobbins clearly the leader now, and I think he's got the right to earn the start in this game. Don't know if he's going to, but clearly the better guy through week 1. And right now, we're leaning towards Dobbins going forward. Long term, if Gus doesn't get better, watch Kamani Vidal. He was inactive in week 1, but this Troy rookie, he's got a little something. And if Gus ends up being a non-factor, Kamani Vidal could end up being somebody who starts working his way into the rotation down the road.
Okay, excellent breakdown. Let's go to your backyard, which is spacious. Your beagle can go out there and play. I'm jealous. How about Sam Darnold, who was great in week 1, now taking on the Niners? And what do we do with this, with McCaffrey business also?
Yeah, so, McCaffrey not expected to go. We're going to get a lot of course, of Jordan Mason. Vikings run defense was really good last year, and of course obliterated Devin Singletary last week. Not that that's really a comparison, but nevertheless, it's not. I don't know that Mason is going to look quite as good as he did against the Jets. Although the Jets run defense is pretty good too. They're great pass defense, good run defense. So you still start Jordan Mason. I've got him right around running back 10 in my ranking, so I still like him here. For Sam Darnold, this thing's pretty fascinating. Completed his first 12 passes to open his career as a Minnesota Viking. I have a little bit of worry that the Niners, they're a great run defense. They're only a middle of the pack pass defense. Vikings are going to be without Jordan Addison, who re-injured his ankle, not expected to go here, didn't practice on Thursday. Niners come at you with Joey Bosa and Leonard Floyd on the edges. But the Vikings just neutralized Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns, what should be one of the best defensive lines. And they barely got Sam Darnold at all. He had 10 hurries in the game and only 2 actually points of contact in the game. So right now it looks pretty promising other than losing Jordan Addison in this game. If you need a deep sleeper, and I haven't looked at the betting. I tried to look for betting angles on Jalen Naylor. He's going to be your Vikings' number 2 receiver in this game.
All right.
I was not able to find any place I could bet him, but take a look. If you can get anything over about 30, 35 yards on Jalen Naylor, this is a nice sneaky play. No Hawkinson, no Addison. Naylor's your starter.
I'll search. Again, takeaway here. Gloom and doom in Cincinnati. Burrow, the passing game. Higgins again questionable now for this week. Might not play again. Didn't look very good with Chase. Nothing looked good for the Bengals in week 1.
No. Did you guys see the video of Burrow repeatedly flexing that surgically repaired wrist?
No.
Yeah, then he comes out. He says it feels better now, but it's not an issue.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
So why do you keep flexing your wrist? And he's like, oh, well, now I'm just a habitual wrist flexor now. I flex my wrist all the time. I flex at home. I flex in the shower. I flex my wrist at the facility. Okay, sure. Whatever you say, man. If I'm supposed to believe this wrist is a non-issue, yet you keep flexing it all the time. My wrist is not an issue. I don't flex it all the time. Jamar Chase still maybe knocking some rust off. And part of the problem here is T. Higgins not going to go. Chase is going to draw shadow coverage from elite corner Trent McDuffie, who frequently shadows, especially when there isn't a capable number 2 receiver. And without T. Higgins, it drops all the way down to Andre Yoshivas. So I think he's going to get the McDuffie treatment here. McDuffie gave up 22 scoreless yards in his coverage against Baltimore in week 1. And I'm worried about Burrow. I don't think the bounce back is coming here. Schedule gets easier the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about Burrow maybe as a bounce back candidate next week, but not this week.
All right, very good. Our guest, Paul Charchi, and GuillotineLeagues.com. He is on the progressive guest line. Let's hit some more player props then. High total in the Lions-Buccaneers game. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy who I own with several of my fantasy leagues. But from a player prop perspective here, you want to go rushing, you want to go receiving. What are you looking at this week?
We're looking at receiving yards. The line's only 28.5 yards. I like this number. Last week the Bucs gave up to opposing running backs, and the Commanders running backs might add, 7 catches for 101 yards to the position. Brian Robinson has got the hands of a walrus, and he posted 49 receiving yards against the Bucs.
Yep.
Last week, Gibbs, 4 passes, 34 yards, and I'll add in another thing. These teams met last year. Gibbs didn't play in that game. His backup, Craig Reynolds, put up 28 receiving yards. If you think Jahmyr Gibbs is half a yard better than Craig Reynolds, let's make this bet. Jahmyr Gibbs over 28.5 receiving yards.
All right, that's outstanding. How about Wan'Dale Robinson with the Giants?
Yeah, I know. It's tough to build a case for anybody who has to catch a pass from Daniel Jones right now. I totally get that, but I'm going to try to build it here. You guys tell me if it works. Commanders allowed the 6th most wide receiver receptions last year. Last week, the Commanders allowed 15 receptions to wide receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson was targeted 12 times last week. He'll be covered by the Commanders' slot corner. It's a rookie named Mike Sanristil, who allowed 6 of 7 passes in his coverage to be completed in his debut last week, including a touchdown to Chris Godwin. I haven't looked at Robinson's anytime touchdown. I'm guessing it's in the plus 400 range. That's kind of interesting too. But the plus 4.5 receptions feels very strong for Wan'Dale Robinson.
I love it. And I got to be honest, like, doesn't work for chemistry. What's with neighbors making these comments all the time? Like, if I'm Danny Dimes, I'm not going to throw you the ball. I mean, you got a guy with some bizarre comments and throwing his quarterback under the bus. What did you have? Go ahead.
They'll coach that out of him, right? You know, the PR department will get on him and go, look, you're killing yourself. You can't do this.
Do you have one more on McMillan?
I do. Bucs wide receiver Jalen McMillan, rookie. Over 30.5 receiving yards. I also like his anytime touchdown, plus 400. Get this. Last week, rookie, first ever start, Jalen McMillan, more snaps played than Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, and more routes run than Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. Go figure. NFL debut. Now, he only turned all of those routes and everything else into 3 targets and 1 catch. Although the 1 catch was a touchdown, and he narrowly missed a second touchdown, by the way, almost had 2. McMillan's going to run against rookie cornerback Terrion Arnold, who allowed 8 catches in his NFL debut last week. I like this matchup, and I like this angle for Jalen McMillan. The kid was dazzling in preseason, and he came right into the NFL, scored a touchdown in his first game.
All right. By the way, when you were talking about Dobbins and how much you liked what you saw out of him and how you liked basically nothing out of Gus Edwards, I looked around. I don't know if I could do this because he's so injury-prone, but to lead the league in rushing yards for the full year, you know how Harbaugh operates, the offensive line is going to be great the way it appears. Would you take anything above 50-1?
50?
Yeah, or would you need a lot more on Dobbins?
No, 50-1 is that's bankable, because if he plays the full season, and most running backs don't, but if he does, yeah, I mean, it's if they played this out 50 times, he would lead the NFL, I don't know, 4 out of 50. So
if we played it out 50 times, how many of those seasons would he actually play in all the games?
10.
Or not get injured?
Yeah, maybe 10, right? 1 in 5. Okay. But yeah. So I mean, look, total long shot. But would I throw a few dollars at 50 to 1 and for a guy who's emerging as the lead runner and the team that's probably going to run the ball more than any other? Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I took a little Jamison Williams to lead in receiving yards at 80 to 1 this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Where was that last week?
That's a great question. Multiply that a couple times over, probably. So
I saw somebody post their ticket online. Somebody hit it at I think he turned $100 into 26,000.
Oh, for the week one to lead all week one.
Week one to lead all receivers and receiving yards.
That's pretty good. Church, you're the best. Great conversation.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
There you go. GuillotineLeagues.com, and he was on the Progressive Guest Line. Soccer bets with the meat man, Steve Wiss, next on VSiN.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis on the